Welcome to Preeminence Christian Fellowship. Yahweh's love reigns. I am your favorite minister, Minister Orlando Withers. I am so happy that you have joined us once again. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you'll be notified every single time we upload new content. Please drop us a line in the comments and let us know if you're enjoying it. Let us know who has been blessed by this word. Please continue to share these videos with your friends and with your loved ones, and especially those who do not have a relationship with Yahshua, Jesus Christ, the Messiah. As we jump into this quick mini series, The Unseen Vine, I just pray and ask that Yahweh continues to bless you, continues to expand you as we go through not just this series, but this journey called life. May his love and protection remain upon you always. May his favor rest upon you like dew in the morning. In Yeshua's name, God bless you and enjoy. On the third day, a wedding took place in Cana in Galilee. Yeshua's mother was there, and Yeshua and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Yeshua's mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me?" Yeshua replied. "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding about 20 to 30 gallons. Yeshua said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled it to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." What Yeshua did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. To understand what is going on in this book is to understand the significance of the wine. Wine and winemaking has actually been around, some say, for more than 8,000 years. I know with a little bit of research that dating back to 2200 BC, that is before Christ, in Syria, Palestine, winemaking was the major industry of that time. And in the Syria, Palestine, through Israel to Egypt corridor, in that traveling path right there of wine and beer making, in that time and in that region, wine took over water as the major liquid or the major sustenance for society during that time. Say that 3 times fast. So there was more wine being produced in that area than actual water because this was a dry time. It was a wilderness area. And when you're traveling, most likely what you would do is you would fill up a skin, a goat skin or a sheep skin, partially with wine and partially with water because water was so scarce. And that's what you would travel with. So people drank more wine than water during that time and in that region. It is interesting to note, though, because I wanted to understand how in the world could you grow such great grapes for wine producing if there is no water there? Well, historians have said that the dew actually that would cover the grapes and would cover the vegetation and would cover the ground at night was sufficient to sustain the vineyards. And so in that area, the vineyards actually thrived because they needed less water than the actual humans and the animals. But the dew in the morning was able to sustain everything that was growing in the land. Oh, stop. Sometimes people are looking for a flash flood miracle blessing in their lives. Sometimes people are asking God to flood them with a lottery winning or to flood them with a job, but yet they're not out there looking. They want to win the holy lottery. They're just sitting there waiting for God to drop a car, drop a job, drop a husband, drop money into their lives. But God is saying sometimes what you're not realizing is that I have the dew of my blessing upon you. Hey, we're looking for the flood, but his dew is what is sustaining us. His dew every single day is what is nourishing us and giving us blessing. So sometimes you've got to realize that the dew of Yahweh's blessing is resting upon you. Don't always look for the flood. It is the dew that sustains you in the dry times. It is the dew that sustains you in those hot periods. It is the dew of blessing upon the Christian that is propelling us through this pandemic time. Where everyone else might be losing hope, we are being sustained by his dew. Hey, God. It ain't Mountain Dew. Hey, it's a different type of Mountain Dew. Hey, just a short joke. But this wine was valuable. To understand what is taking place at the wedding, we've got to understand the significance of the wine. Wine was used for hydration. Like we've already mentioned, it was a necessity during that time to traverse the wilderness land. Wine was used for medicine. We know this because in 1 Timothy also, Paul tells Timothy to not just drink water, but to take a little wine for his stomach's sake and for his frequent illnesses. So wine was not only used with the wine and mixture of water for hydration, but wine was also used medicinally to ail stomach and gastrointestinal issues. Hey, God. And so this wine was not just for people to drink to have a party with. No, this wine was the lifeblood. It was commerce during that time. It was the thing that in that area they traded. Remember, I said in the beginning that in that Syria-Palestine area, this was a major industry. This was a major commodity. And now remember, I said through the Syria, Palestine, Israel, all the way to Egypt, that pathway, that place that was traveled most frequently, and Egypt, which the world did commerce with at that time, notice that they were on the Nile, on the water. So traveling and trading came in and out of that area. And so wine was a major commodity of that time. So wine was used for sustenance. Wine was used for medicinal purposes. Wine was used commercially to sell and to trade. Wine was used as a disinfectant also. Wine, now let's get into the biblical context of it. Wine also represented a covenant blessing with God. If we turn to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9, it says, "Honor Yahweh with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops, and then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine." Says your. So first of all, it says, honor Yahweh with your wealth, with your first fruits of your crops. So that is a part of tithing. But now the benefit is that when you honor Yahweh with the first fruits, when you honor Yahweh with your tithes and offerings, when you honor Yahweh with your time and talents, he is saying that your barns will be filled to overflowing and your vats will brim over with new wine. So here it is that new wine is not seen as something that is evil. Wine is not seen as something that is wicked. Wine is something that Yahweh is saying that I will bless you and have your vats overflowing with new wine. Because wine symbolizes Yahweh's covenantal blessing. So I don't want you to get hung up and stuck on wine and being looked at as a bad and an evil thing or a wicked thing. That's why we're talking about wine in a positive light right now. Because once again, notice Yahshua is at a party. For all people who want to be holier than thou, Yahshua is at a party. And they have now run out of wine. And in Jewish culture, what I have been spending this first part of the sermon talking about is that in Jewish culture, wine was essential to their celebrations and the traditions. And it was not just sanctioned by God, but God used it to symbolize his blessing. Oh, come on now. So as this unfolds now, and as we get back into the story of the wedding in Cana in Galilee, in John chapter 2, verse 2, it says, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Yeshua's mother said to him, there is no more wine. Woman, why do you involve me? This is not something to where he is saying and he is being disrespectful and saying, woman, why are you talking to me about this? No, it's just like me and my mother. We're at a party, we're at a function, and all of a sudden the wine runs out. Well, I'm a guest in this. So it's like, why are you telling me that the wine has run out? That's not my problem at this point. I'm a guest. Hey, come on now. Oh, come on now. Hey, I'm getting excited because he's saying that he's a guest at this moment, but we all know that he is the bridegroom coming. Oh, come on. That's foreshadowing right there. He is saying my time has not come yet. Hey, right now I'm the guest. They don't know that I'm the bridegroom. They don't know that they're going to be married to me. They don't know yet that they're going to be in union with me. They don't know that I'm God in human clothes. They don't know this Mary right now. They don't know who I am, mama. They don't know what I can do yet, mama. And this is not the time right now. In Ezekiel, it says there is a time for everything, mama. And this is not the time. But I love Mary's response. Like a true mother, she pays him no mind. He says in verse 4, woman, why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come. His mother says to the servants, do whatever he tells you. She straight up ignores him. She straight ignores him. It doesn't say that she contemplated. It doesn't say that she even looked at him again. She says, Yeshua, the wine has run out. He says, why do you involve me? And her next word is, do whatever he says to do. And she walks off. And she walks off because she knows that he can handle the situation. Hey, God. Sometimes you've got to ask Yeshua and walk off. This ain't a conversation type moment. When you're asking God for a blessing, when you're asking God to heal you, when you're asking God for a supernatural breakthrough, it's something that you ask with expectation that he's gonna answer. That's why she walked off, because she had the expectation. She knew because of the relationship that he wouldn't let her down. She knew that because of the relationship that they had, he would not let her down. And so she walked off. So back to this. Why is Mary so concerned? Again, it doesn't tell us that this is a family member, a close friend, or whatever. But again, we are surmising now and gleaning things. You're going to be, if I went to Stephen and Denisha's wedding, if they had run out of anything, I would have been in the car and I would have been driving wherever need be to go get this thing and bring it back to them. Why? Because I love them. So that's the thing. You're going to sacrifice for those that you love. So Mary is concerned, even though the bridegroom, even though somebody might not have come to her directly, she has heard that there is no more wine. And to save embarrassment of these people, she is telling her son, there's a need. Oh, there's a need for you right now. Back to the significance of wine. See, in Jewish culture, a wedding lasts more than one day. It's a week-long celebration. And every single day, you have a new set of guests that come to the banquet area. And every day, you're supposed to have a new, fresh supply of wine. Wine also symbolized wealth. Hey, come on now. Now let's get into it. You see, sometimes we get into situations because we're trying to impress others. Sometimes we get into situations to where we're paying for a wedding or we're paying for a thing by ourselves, and we're so busy trying to put on and front for other people instead of saying that we don't have it. Hey, we're in there perpetrating a fraud, as we like to say back in the day, and now you've put yourself in a situation to where you're running low. You don't know what to do, and now you're in a sticky situation and you're in a sticky circumstance. And this same Mary, oh God, this same Mary that they used to whisper about, this same Mary that they would talk about badly, this same Mary who was a teenage mother, this same Mary, hey, this same Mary, the carpenter's wife, who has no money, but she knew, hey, she didn't have wine, but she knew the winemaker. She didn't have money, but she knew the money maker. All she knew is that she had a relationship with someone that could change the situation. Mary knew that she could not do it on her own. That's why she went to Yahshua and she said, there is no more wine. Hey. She, who was an afterthought, hey, come on. This same Mary, hey, who they talk bad about and whispers about, come on now. Come on now. That baby don't look like Joseph. Oh, come on now. You know how people can be. You know how the village can be. The same Mary could have walked out and just said, it's time to go, there's no more wine. But she saw the need, and the urgency rose in her. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. Because you see, Yahshua and Mary could have come on day one of the wedding when they still had plenty of wine. They could have come, they could have enjoyed, they could have partied, and they could have left. They could have come on day 2 or 3. But most likely when they are running out of wine, it's because they came at the end of the week. Timing is everything. Hey. So she came at the end of the week. Don't you know that God will show up at the end of your circumstances? Hey. When you're just about to run out of something, God will show up and show out because his timing is everything. Hey, God, come on now. You've got to understand the conversation now, and let's read between the lines of Mary and Yahshua. He is saying now, why do you involve me in verse 4? My hour has not yet come. This is not the time to reveal myself because what Mary is asking for is a supernatural blessing. Oh, she's not talking to the carpenter's son. She's not talking to Joseph's son. Oh, stop. She is not talking to Joseph's son because Joseph's son cannot fix this problem. She is talking to the Son of God. She is saying, I know who you are, and I know that you can fix this circumstance. I know that you can bring a blessing. I know that you can do it. She is not talking to Joseph's son. She is talking to Yahweh's son. She is talking to God right now. And she is saying, God, I need you right now. In the midst of this, I don't care that you think that this is not your hour. I don't care. I need you right now. Mary's got an I don't care attitude. She pulls the mother card. I hear what you said without even saying it. And she walks off. Hey, come on now. She ain't talking to the carpenter's son at this point. Sometimes we've got to stop speaking. We got to stop speaking to man like man can fix this problem. Stop speaking. Hey, God, stop speaking to human man and speak to Yahweh. Hey, God, come on. Hey, the divine revealed. Slow it down. I just missed you with that. Hey, come on now. Divine revealed. Hey, the vine revealed. Hey, the unseen vine revealed. Because he made something out of nothing. Hey, stop. In John 15, verse 5, it says, what? It says that I am the vine, you are the branches. Hey, I am the vine. The vine revealed. John had one job to do. John had one job to do, to introduce you and the world to the Son of God. See, Matthew couldn't do that job. Mark wasn't called to do that job. Luke wasn't tasked to do that job. Matthew dealt with Yeshua's Abrahamic lineage. He traced back all the way back to Abraham, to the son of David, to being Abraham's son, to being Adam's son. He dealt with his humanity and being the Messiah. Mark focused on Yeshua's deeds. Luke was the historian, so he talked technically about what Yeshua did, and he was accurate to a T. But John only cared about the divine. John only cared about his divinity. That's why in John 1:1, he introduces him to, hey, in John chapter 1, verses 1, I can show you better than I could tell you. In John chapter 1, verse 1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him, all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. Hey, come on, we got to read verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Give Yahweh praise. John had one job to do, and he did it brilliantly. He wanted us to know who Yeshua was. He wanted us to know that he was not ordinary. That's why this miracle is not contained in any of the other gospels, only in John, because John had a job to do. Hey, come on now. John wanted us to know and see who he was. Because in order to perform this miracle, hey, Yeshua wouldn't be able to hide in plain sight anymore. Hey, that's why he said, my hour has not yet come. Because once I do the first miracle, hey, it's going to spread like wildfire. Once I do the first thing, it's no more hiding in plain sight. See, he had been calling his disciples secretly and and bringing on his disciples and bringing on these ministers. Come on with me. I'm the Messiah. He told them. But even as he is bringing these disciples on, they're hoping that he's the Messiah. They want to believe that he's the Messiah, but he hasn't done anything yet to show that he's the Messiah. And so the time was right. And when we go back to John chapter 2, Yahshua says to the servants in 7, fill the jars with water. So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. What the master of ceremonies, or the master of the banquet, as it says right here, is saying is that usually, most people bring out the Robert Mondavi Cabernet Sauvignon first, and then they bring out the MD 2020, the Boone's Farm, last. But what you did was you reversed it. You brought out the good stuff first, but you brought out the best last. Hey! It doesn't matter where you started. God is saying that you're good right now. The water is good right now, but I can turn you into something special. I've turned your life around into something better. I've brought the best out in you. You see, I don't want you to think that the water was bad or that the water was insignificant. No, the water was valuable. But God is saying that I need to give you a special blessing so that when I bring you to the lips of others, so when I bring you into the life of others, when I bring you to somebody else, you're sweet to them. Hey, you're not bland, you're not dull, but you're sweet, you're nourishing, and you're a blessing. Hey, God. That's what water into wine is all about. The blessing of an unseen vine. The blessing of an unseen vine. Here it is that Yahshua, without the vine, without time, he had to show who he really was. Because the servants are right there. This isn't a sleight of hand trick. All the servants are right there, and they know and they've seen because they gathered the water. The disciples who are with them are right there, and they see that it's ordinary water. Hey, God. Hey. They see that it's ordinary water that is filled to the brim of these pots. And when he dips it out, he tells the servant to dip it out and take it to the master of ceremonies. Hey, come on now. Come on now. These ordinary servants were ordinary water. These ordinary servants with ordinary water. The miracle was in the obedience. The miracle was in the obedience and the relationship. Because of the relationship that Mary had with the bride or groom and her relationship with her son, and his relationship as God, the blessing was in the obedience. A son being obedient to his mother. Hey, God, come on now. The servants being obedient to Yahshua. Ordinary servants taking ordinary water. But when the master of ceremonies tasted it, he said that this is the best wine. The master of ceremonies has been there all week. He's no ordinary master of ceremony. Trust me, this is most likely his livelihood. This is what he does for a living. He's an MC. He moves the crowd. He's a master of ceremony. He's tasted good wine before. And he said, you saved the best. Hey, he said, you saved the best for now. I can give you some gimmicky thing and say that a God can turn the blend around and change your life and turn you into a great blessing right now. Yeah, get ready. And I'm not going to do that to you. What I want you to know right now is that God has already turned you into a blessing. Come on now. God has already changed you into something that is now rich and sweet. What I want you to take from this right now is that God will interject you into a crisis to become a sweet blessing. Hey, come on now. Put that on there. God will interject you into a crisis for you to become a sweet blessing to someone else. That's what happened. That's what happened when water was turned into wine. Hey. We've got to leave you right there. Please join us for part 2 next week. But before I let you go, I just pray that you have been blessed by part 1 of the unseen vine. And what I mainly wanted you to glean out and get out of this is that the relationship that Mary had, and man, Mary was the catalyst in the room. When you really realize it, think about this now. Hey, we are all like Mary. We're the catalyst in the room. We might think that this story is about Yahshua right now, but I'm looking at this miracle from the perspective of Mary being the catalyst in the room. Hey, follow me right now. Let me not get too excited and start preaching all over again. See, it's because of Mary's relationship with everybody involved in that room and in that situation that the blessing comes. Hey, all right? Because of Mary's relationship with either the bride or groom or someone at that ceremony, she invites now the presence of God to come out and to shine and to be a blessing and to solve a problem, to keep this from being a crisis. See, so Mary is the catalyst. Mary is the one in the room. So that is what I really believe that Yahweh wants us to focus in on, is that we are the ones in the room, in the situations with all these people. And God is saying that I am interjecting you at the right place at the right time. I'm not interjecting you into calm seas and just placid waves. No, I'm interjecting you into a storm so that you can bring me into it and I can bring peace. Hey, God, come on. So that is what Mary did, is that she helped avoid a major crisis for these people and avoid major embarrassment because of her relationship now with the son. Hey, but the best part of that story was, at that point, she wasn't talking to her son. She wasn't talking to Joseph's son. She was talking to the Son of God. She understood that at that moment, humanness couldn't fix that. She needed a supernatural blessing. She needed the unseen vine. Hey, God bless you. See you next week.